Welcome to the first episode of the Piper Harlow Show. I am your host, Piper Harlow, and I am so excited to be on this journey with you. So you may be asking yourself, who the heck is Piper Harlow? Well, I'm a publicist, entrepreneur, actress, singer, dancer, writer, producer, and now I can finally add talk show host to my resume. This is a show in which entrepreneurship meets entertainment. And my purpose in creating this show is to really give creative professionals, artists, business owners, and entrepreneurs a space to shine, to tell their story, and to gain exposure in the media. My hope is to build a diverse community in which we amplify each other's voices through increased visibility and education for entrepreneurs. Today's guests include accomplished Broadway actress Haley Khem Wright, who is currently performing in 6 on Broadway. She has been taking the stage and screen by storm for over 10 years, including recent performances at the 75th Annual Tony Awards, and she's been featured in national campaigns for T-Mobile, IKEA, Samsung, and more. Another one of our esteemed guests will be Darren Carp. You've seen her on the red carpet on E! Entertainment, doing crime show podcasts on Oxygen Network. Of course, she's been on Ask Andy with Andy Cohen on Bravo TV. And Darren has also hosted People TV's reality show. Next, we have Michael J. Solar. He is an innovative leader with an inspiring story. From humble beginnings as a mobile dog trainer to a successful CEO of a multi-million-dollar nationwide franchise called Blueline K9. He specializes in helping dogs build unbreakable bonds with their owners and also help entrepreneurs unlock their potential. And finally, we have my good friend, the brilliant businesswoman, Dr. Ann Kaplan. She is best known for starring as one of the Real Housewives of Toronto, and she will be sharing her experience working all the way up from a single mother to a proud castle owner in London and a reality star as well. Prepare to meet some fabulous people, learn about how to succeed in business, and get inspired. I hope that you'll grab your favorite cup of coffee or whatever your beverage of choice is and enjoy the ride as we celebrate our fearless, unapologetic, authentic selves. Hi, everybody. I am so excited to welcome to our set today, Haley Khem Wright, our Broadway luminaire. Haley is from Houston, raised in Tennessee. She's the winner of the USA Songwriter Competition for Toxic Love Story. She's also currently playing Catherine of Aragon in 6 on Broadway. And she's also been featured in commercials such as Samsung, IKEA, and the Book of the Month Club. Haley, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you
so
for
cute.
having
I love
me.
your hat.
Thank you.
Haley, you really have a story, a journey to the stage that I think is beyond inspiring. And I'm so happy to have you here today. Can you tell us about your journey to Broadway?
Yeah, so basically my journey, to Broadway was a bit stifled in some places because I ran into being unhoused, and homelessness with my family. And that really obviously was a ball and chain while I was trying to make it towards my dreams, which are already hard. Like, it's already hard to make it in New York City, let alone bouncing around from shelter to shelter and just trying to figure out, like, what's your housing situation. Like, it's a constant question mark. It's a lot weighing on you when you walk into these different rooms. So one of the shows my Broadway debut was with Paradise Square, which I was in the original Broadway cast with. I made not only my Broadway debut, but also my principal debut within that show in that time period because I was an understudy for one of the principals. We went to the Tonys. We performed at the 75th Annual Tonys at Radio City Hall, which was a legendary performance thanks to my wonderful cast and also Jokina Kalukango, who won that year.
In fact, how many times did you have to audition?
Okay, so for 6, which I'm currently in now, I think I auditioned around like 6 times.
6 for 6?
6 for 6.
Tell me how it feels to play Catherine of Aragon.
Yeah.
She is such a substantial figure in history.
Yeah. I mean, it was a remarkable experience to come into this role. Obviously, the previous queens before us in the original Broadway cast knocked it out the park. It felt like such a journey to make sure that I was authentic to myself within playing this character. I did do my research on her, and I wanted to bring that power, bring her ferocity. I mean, one of the things I learned about her was that she literally rode into battle pregnant.
Yes.
So I just thought that was remarkable. And so I always wanted to make sure that level of audacity was within me at all times. And then on the more funner side of things and the less historical side, I made sure to really focus and hone in on the fact that this queen was based, and the song was based a lot on Beyonce. I also wanted to sprinkle in a little bit of Nicki Minaj.
Another queen.
Yes, the queen.
All the queens.
The queens. And I wanted to make sure I married, all of the people who've inspired me to perform in this show and in this moment. And you only get one song. Well, we only have one song individually in 6, and then we have a couple group numbers, and so to go first is a lot of pressure. But it's fun. I kick off the show, and I feel like I try my best to make a good crack at the ceiling and make sure everybody can just go blow the Lena Horne roof off.
That's
every
it.
night.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so you do this in a costume.
Yeah.
That is not very forgiving.
No, it is not. It is not. It's completely made of plastic. Let's just start there. My costume just so happens to also be the heaviest costume in the mix, because why not? Why not do that? So it's incredibly tight. It literally feels like when you see like the women getting in the corsets and they're like pulling the strings.
So
and
they
they're
wanted to keep it authentic.
Yes, it's extremely authentic to the time. But the designer used to make the costumes for Spice Girls, and so it's kind of awesome to like feel like a Spice. I was a huge Spice Girls fan. I'm still.
So you're a Spice Girl, you're Beyonce, you're the queen carrying a head, like you just girl, like you were it.
Yes, we're giving girl power down. So, I love my costume once it's on, and it took a long time for the plastic to kind of warm up to my body and shape to me, which was great. I don't know the exact pounds, but I know for a fact that I rehearsed with 2 8-pound vests on. Wow. So I was rehearsing with 16 pounds in preparation for about a 15-pound costume. I think because I'm petite, I think my costume is around like 10 to 12 pounds, but it's still
that's a lot, especially when you're singing. To have that pressure. And
it's all like in the diaphragm area, which is what you need to breathe. But most singers, and you probably know this too, sometimes I like wearing a corset to sing. It really makes me focus on my breath, and keeps those ribs expanding the way you need to, so that you're breathing correctly and all the technical stuff.
We can all use all the help we can get.
Yes.
So I know that you have an achievement award for extraordinary resilience. Yeah. Tell me more about that.
Oh man, that was one of those moments where I like definitely boohoo cried. But the Volunteers of America of Greater New York honored me with this achievement award for resilience because of my rise from literally being homeless in New York to Broadway for like.
I literally have chills right now. I love that.
Yeah, that's how it felt. That's how it felt. It was like honoring that so young woman. Yeah.
Thank you, Haley, so much for coming today. Everybody, make sure you check Haley out on 6 or follow her on Instagram, Haley Khem Wright, on all platforms. And we will be right back. Stay tuned.
Diamonds and watches and coins we buy. Need extra cash? Then give us a try. You'll get the most money, and that's not a lie. We're in East Brunswick, so come and say hi.
Call National Estate Jewelry Buyers at 732-257-4653 or visit us online at www.toppricesforgold.com.
Diamonds and watches and coins we buy. Need extra cash? Then give us a try. You'll get the most money, and that's not a lie. We're in East Brunswick, so come and say hi.
And now, back to the Piper Harlow Show. Hi, Darren. Thank you so much for being on the first episode of the Piper Harlow Show.
Woo! So excited.
So I do have a little secret to confess. You are actually one of the biggest inspirations for me doing this show because you were the first person that ever interviewed me as a subject matter expert 3 years ago.
Wow, is that real?
Yep, that's absolutely true.
That's crazy. Well, congratulations.
So Darren, I think you just have such an amazing story and history about how you got started in the entertainment business. Can you tell me about your journey?
Yeah, that's an open-ended question because I feel like I could almost write a book on it. I'm sort of the example of having a really specific goal in mind without a specific path. Went to college, graduated, and after college, I became a page, which is like Kenneth from 30 Rock. I had kind of been researching online of what my favorite game show hosts had done because there wasn't really any clear path for what I wanted to do. And so I became an NBC page, and I did that for about 8.5 months after college, giving tours. I worked at SNL, I worked at MSNBC, I worked at Sci-Fi, and a job had come out at that time to be a coordinator, which is really like an executive assistant, but it's the coordinator. It's like the admin person of the department at Bravo for the head of original programming and development, this guy named Andy Cohen. Maybe they said Andrew Cohen at the time, but this guy, Andy Cohen, I didn't know who he was. I never watched Bravo. Watch What Happens Live is only on one night a week. I mean, this was, almost 15 years ago, 14 years ago. And I didn't want the job. And my page bosses at the time obviously saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And so they brought me back in after I missed the deadline. And they were just like, your personality is what really drive. Like, you guys should just try it. You got nothing else going on. Like, just try it. And common sense kind of won the day. And I applied. And by the second or third interview, I really wanted it. And I've been with Andy now for about 12 years. I think I'm doing the math on that correctly. And I can't really imagine, I'm sure I would be fine if I hadn't taken that job. So it's not like I think all careers rest on one decision, but that was really like set the trajectory for the rest of my life. And it gave me probably the most valuable asset in this industry, which is a really, really good mentor. And that's what he's sort of become to me. And now we're really family. And so that's kind of how I got started in my career, basically saying no, and then other people convincing me I should say yes, and listening to the right people.
Wow. Darren, I really think it's good that you said yes to that, because I think a lot of times in life, we tend to say no to things because they're new or because they're scary.
I think that's that's kind of why I majored in psych, right? Because so much of life, like, you don't grow unless you're uncomfortable. And I think for me, this would have been uncomfortable. And it's sort of a testament to, like, I had this one path in mind. I was going to go live in Idaho, work my way up and being this local news reporter, because certainly when I was growing up, that's what seemed to be happening.
Now, Darren, tell me, what are you currently up to? What's going on?
Yeah, I just actually recently moved to the West Coast. So I'm a Californian now, which I can't actually believe my lips are saying this, and I'm being truthful about it, but I did just move not too long ago. I'm fortunate enough that I still get to work with Andy. So Andy and I are still in each other's orbits. I get to work with him. After 12 years, it really has shifted because I've been able to sort of build another career off of the Andy thing. And he's been so great to me by sort of allowing that to happen and wanting to see me succeed. And then usually every other week or once a month, I go on the Today Show. I go on NBC News Now. I do a lot of NBC News Daily stuff, talking about pop culture, the things to watch, what's really happening, the Barbie movie hitting $1 billion and Greta Gerwig being, the single female director on something to actually make that happen. And so I get to talk about things that are sort of happening in pop culture. And it's really great because it keeps me on my toes, and getting to work for someone who literally creates pop culture has been such a dream and kind of a full circle moment for me.
All right, Darren, are you ready for a Fast Five?
Sure. Give me a Fast 8, Piper. I'm ready. Give me a Fast 8.
All right. Are you ready? Favorite color?
Red.
Favorite movie?
American Beauty.
Favorite smell?
My girlfriend.
Aw. Favorite vacation spot?
Ooh, I want to say Hawaii. Obviously, what they're going through right now is absolutely terrible, but Hawaii is paradise for all the reasons. And Paris, France.
Favorite season?
Fall.
Favorite word? You said more than 5, so we're going for the 8.
No, a favorite word. I just learned an amazing word, but I haven't put it into context yet, so maybe I'm cheating here. But the word is astroglobulus, which is like unique and stuff. And I just love the word astroglobulus. Like, I want to be astroglobulus. Like, how could you not be? Like, I feel like every cat and dog is astroglobulus. So I'm going to go with that one today. But I also really like the word superfluous. I really like it. I think it's a beautiful word for something that just means extra and not needed. I think that's great.
Those are some fancy words. I like it a lot. What is your favorite blazer? Because you are the queen of blazers. You have the best blazers. Rita here is trying to one-up you. But tell me, which is your favorite blazer?
I know, NBC News Now dubbed me the Baroness of Blazers. Which is just perfect. So you've really been doing your homework. My God, I have a lot of favorite blazers, I gotta say, but one of my favorite ones I haven't really worn on air yet is this like velvet. It's like 70s with like paint chips and flowers, and it's velvet and it's so cool. And I kind of can't wait for it to be winter and wearing it. I wore it for BravoCon last year. It's just like colorful and vibrant, and it's like everything I want in a blazer. I love it.
That really sounds amazing. And I will definitely consult you on all of my blazer wardrobe before wearing it on air.
Required by law, Piper. You know that.
I thought so. I thought there was something in the contract.
I made you sign that, didn't I? Yeah, I thought so.
Darren, thank you so much for coming. Where can people tune in to find you, and what last minute advice do you have?
Last minute advice is, try and say yes to everything that you absolutely can. Especially early on in your career, I think you don't know what you don't know. And kind of finding that out is going to set a path for you that you might not have thought originally. And that's perfectly great. And sometimes that can bring more in your life than you ever thought. And people can find me at Carpe Darren for all my adventures. BravoCon's coming up in a few months, and you can see me there and do all my NBC News hits. And of course, you can download Shaken and Disturbed wherever you get your podcasts, and follow. It's on Patreon as well. And you can follow us, Shaken and Disturbed podcast fans, on Facebook as well.
Darren, thank you so much for all of your advice and for being here today. Everybody, please come right back. We're going to have Michael J. Solar from Blueline K9. And right now, a real quick little ditty from the American Liberty Ballet. And now, back to the Piper Harlow Show. Welcome back. I am so excited to have my next guest, Mike Solar. He was so nice to come in all the way from Maryland today, even though he is a Jersey boy.
I am, yeah.
In a cowboy hat. Mike has created a multi-million-dollar dog training business and turned that into a franchise. Mike, thank you so much for coming all the way in today.
Thank you for having me.
So Mike, tell me, how did you build this franchise? Like where did you come up with the concept? How did this happen?
So the journey starts with building relationships. Originally, I was in the United States Marine Corps. I had come home.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, they paid me. But thank you. I served in the Marine Corps in Iraq, and I came home and I was really dealing with some issues. I sought a lot of help.
Like PTSD?
Yeah, PTSD. Yes. And I just wasn't seeking and getting what I was looking for. So at the time, my girlfriend, now wife, suggested that I go get a hobby. And since I like animals, start with a dog.
That's so amazing. And so I don't know if the audience knows, but I have PTSD from 9/11, and my 2 Pomeranians are actually ESA dogs. And there was a long time when I couldn't go into stores, restaurants, or even drive back through Manhattan until I got these dogs. So we've talked before about dog issues because, as we know, both of my dogs are rescues. And one of them has a lot of issues with barking. She gets very nervous when people come to the house. And something I thought that was so interesting that you asked me is, well, what is your ethnicity? What is your background? Because you actually will train people in different ways according to their backgrounds.
Yeah, I base it on cultural diversity. So I'm originally from Hoboken, New Jersey, Richfield Park. So I'm from North Jersey here. It was really cool.
Still a cowboy.
I'm still a cowboy. Always been, ironically. I actually always wore this even as a kid. And I think it was because I always wanted to stand out. I always understood being, my dad's Puerto Rican, my mom is Polish and Irish. So coming from a mixed background and seeing different cultural diversity and being accepted into different cultures showed me so much.
So Mike, what advice do you have for people who want to own a franchise?
Wow.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was it. That's it's not really a loaded question because every franchise is different. So for me, if you're looking to join a franchise, then the first thing that we're going to ask you to do is don't worry about the money. Don't worry about buying in. Don't worry about those things.
I think that's probably the most important thing or the biggest thing that holds a lot of people back is, I love this, whatever this franchise might be, but how the heck am I going to come up with the money?
Yeah, we come across a few different problems in franchising. One would be is people wondering how much it costs. The truth be told is there's a lot of franchises out there that's all about numbers and money.
Mm-hmm.
My company is not.
Right.
We want the right people, not the right dollar. We want to look and build the right cultivation. We want to build a strong community that becomes international, of people working together with animals and building relationships. And that's my focus. If you don't have the money, but you have the right attitude, we'll figure out what we need to do to get you there.
So where do you currently have franchises?
We currently have them in Texas, North Carolina, New Jersey, and Maryland.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you're just getting started.
Just getting started. We're only a year into it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Only a year.
So congratulations.
Yeah. So we have 1 year into it, and our biggest project this year was we actually created our own social media for Blueline Canine clientele to connect throughout, so they can all see their dog's progress. They can all communicate to each other.
So you've actually given me some advice that has already helped me with my dog, and I want to thank you for that.
I love this trick, which is called the invisible dog.
Okay.
So
the invisible dog.
The invisible dog is one of the neatest tricks in the world. As simply as this: if you have a dog that's jumping up at you, just bend over and pet the dog that's not there, and the dog, hey, just like that, like that. And what will happen is that dog that's jumping and misbehaving will see that you're petting the invisible dog, get jealous, and go over there and behave to get petted, because what's driving the dog is the desire to be touched. So since they're trying to get touched by you and they see that there's an invisible dog getting touched, they'll literally go and behave.
What about me?
Yeah,
I'll behave.
That's it. And
That's great.
And it's funny because when dogs jump, we push them off, which is a pet. So you're still rewarding them.
Guys, there's the tip.
So that's the best secret out there.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to do more of that at home. And I'll have a third Pomeranian, the invisible one.
That's it.
Thank you so much for coming today. How can people get in touch with you if they are interested in either having their dog trained or maybe being a potential franchise owner?
So they can check us out on the web at bluelinek-9.com.
Okay.
Or they can give us a call at 1-800-266-2365.
All right, guys, you heard it here. If you're interested in learning more about Blueline Canine, go to the website, call the 800 number. Mike, thank you so much for coming today. And stay tuned. We'll be right back with our next guest.
Diamonds and watches and coins we buy. Need extra cash and give us a try. You'll get the most money and that's not a lie. We're in East Brunswick, so come and say hi.
Call National Estate Jewelry Buyers at 732-257-4653 or visit us online at www.toppricesforgold.com.
Diamonds and watches and coins we buy. Need extra cash and give us a try. You'll get the most money and that's not a lie. We're in East Brunswick, so come and say hi.
And now, back to the Piper Harlow Show. Everybody, I am so glad to introduce you to my dear friend, Dr. Ann Kaplan Mulholland. You would know her as a housewife of Toronto. She is also somebody who is a fierce businesswoman and created a multi-billion-dollar business. She's my friend. She's my mentor. She's coming to us today live from London, and her castle is not that far away. And thank you so much for being here. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I worked very hard today. I'm a little bit parched, a little bit.
Oh, I don't want you to be parched. Here you go.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And one of the things that I admire about you is how you started your business, how you were able to achieve multiple degrees, including a PhD, all while being a single mother. Can you tell us more about your journey?
Well, I think I owe everything to my ex-husband, actually. And that's because he left me absolutely destitute as a single mother, and I had no choice but to really claw my way up to the top, and whatever the top is. But I was always trying to make sure that I would never be in a position again where I would be left with nothing.
It's actually thanks to you, even though sometimes I want to cry, that I am getting my MBA in entrepreneurship.
That's amazing. I'm really proud of you, because I know how hard and how much work it is. And I would say that every day I did my MBA before I did my Master's of Science, before I did my PhD. But every single day of my MBA, I wanted to quit.
Definitely. Especially, I think when you're older, working full time, I know that I have to set small milestones. So my classes are about 7 to 8 weeks. I have to tell myself I just have to get through 2 weeks. When I get through 2 weeks, I say, okay, I'm a quarter of the way done. I just need to do 2 more weeks. And then I know it's halfway done. And so and so and so. And can you just tell everybody a little bit more about how you actually started the business? Because I think a lot of people who are entrepreneurs or maybe feel that they're stuck in a job that they don't want, but they just have no clue how to make that transition.
Yeah, and I think most people, the entrepreneurs, a lot of us have entrepreneurial spirit. And most people say, oh, I'm going to start this business. And they have an idea. And the idea might be a really good one. And so that they launch it. But really the best way to start something when you're an entrepreneur is to say, I have an idea, but how am I going to get to the people?
So after you grew your huge financial empire, you went on to become the queen of a castle and other real estate opportunities throughout the U.S., Canada, and Hawaii. Which was your favorite?
I like all of them. I kind of collect real estate, but all the real estate, almost all my real estate, there's 10 properties, are income earning.
Speaking of real estate, I am so excited about the castle. I cannot wait to come out there with you. That is my dream. Can you tell us a little bit about that, what you're doing with it right now? I know you've had some extraordinary events where you had a grand opening.
So I was not looking for a castle. That to me was not something we were going to get. But this one happened to come up, and I looked at it and I said to my husband, we're going to go look at this castle tomorrow. And he firmly said, we are not buying a castle. And of course, we ended up buying the castle. And it's like buying a business. I thought I'm buying a castle. I bought a job. And now I've got 30 employees. This has only been months, 30 employees. We've had different events. We've got weddings booked. And I'm earning an income off the castle, which is covering the cost of 139 acres in a 1,000-year-old castle, like a pile of rocks. And trying to put this back into an income earning business. We have a restaurant, we have a bar, we have a bistro, we've got 40 hotel rooms and horse stables, everything is there. So it's fun.
Amazing.
Not what I was planning to do before.
Isn't it amazing how life just takes you sometimes into a direction? And
Yes.
You've had some very famous people who have been in that castle.
Absolutely. So Paul McCartney rented the castle for 2 years, and he recorded the Wings album, Back to the Egg. The other frequent guest before was Mick Jagger. And so he was a frequent at the castle. Another famous owner of the castle who lived there was the Archbishop of Canterbury. And another is King Henry VIII. So we have a room dedicated called the King's Room to King Henry VIII where he slept.
Interesting. I did not know that. And one of our other guests today is actually playing Catherine of Aragon in 6 on Broadway right now.
Wow.
Which was one of King Henry's wives.
Right.
So interesting. Well, Anne, I am so honored that you took the time today to be on my show. And I look forward to seeing you at our gala.
I'm so excited. And I'm so excited for you. I know you are going to be massively, massively a hit. I just know you're made for this. And so I'm just, I don't know if I'm more excited than you. I'm really excited for you. Really excited.
Oh, thank you. That means so much, so much.
But watching your journey, that you're a natural, like an absolute natural. So congratulations.
Me blush. Getting the vapors. Oh, Dan, thank you so much. I love you, and I will see you soon. Have a great evening. Well, this wraps up the very first episode of the Piper Harlow Show. If you have any ideas or want to be on the show, please follow me on social media. I'll see you next week. And remember, this is your day. This is your moment. Be seen, be heard, and always be fearless.